Hey, it's me, GV. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Fallout New Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. In the last episode, we got a quest from McNamara, the Elder of the Brotherhood of Steel. He wants us to go find 3 squads. I think it's squads and not singular people of Brotherhood of Steel, and like loot their bodies and find holotapes and mission discs or something like that. However, another paladin called Hardin approached us and said that McNamara is sort of leeching the Brotherhood of Steel and making it a bad situation, basically, by having this lockdown and not allowing anyone to come in or leave. So he wants to get rid of him and replace him, basically. And we're going to help him doing that because what Hardin said he would do sounds a lot better than what McNamara is doing. So in the last episode, right before we ended, we did this little mini quest where you have to like isolate a virus on all of these terminals. We were successful, so now we can access the data logs and see what happens and how you replace elders, I guess. But this guy should have some more dialogue.
Hello again, my friend. I hope you've been finding the information in the data store useful.
Haven't checked it yet. Now that the data store is fixed, what do you think of Hardin trying to get McNamara dismissed?
I can understand how the man might be frustrated by the current situation. He's a take-charge sort of fellow. Standing around's not his strong suit. I myself often wish we could end this interminable stasis and begin moving forward again.
How do I get access to more topics in the data store?
Well, you'd have to get a senior-level member of the chapter to unlock a topic for you. I've given you access to what I can, but that's not much. The majority of topics fall under Ramos's aegis, since they'd constitute a security risk. Good luck getting anything out of him. You might have better luck with another member of the senior staff. Try talking to them about it.
Okay, well that sounds to me like when we access this, it's not going to tell us the information that we need to know. Access data store, bunker information. Okay, we'll just run through this stuff because I guarantee it's not going to satisfy the quest. Yeah, looks like we need to get like a senior password or something like that. So we should have, let's see, how many quest markers? 3. 1 should lead to Ramos. Where does this go? To bunker level 1? Yes, okay, so this... Okay, so wait. So where's this one leading? It looks like it is leading to a person, though. So this is probably Scribe Ibsen.
Hello again, my friend.
What kind of information is in the data store?
Oh, all kinds of things. There was already information regarding the layout and systems of this bunker, but we've since added our own data as well. Prior to the lockdown, we had extensively scouted the surrounding area and compiled dossiers on nearby points of interest.
Okay, so looks like we're done with this quest objective, but what happens if we loot him? Absolutely nothing. Pickpocket, I should say. Alright, so we need to find Ramos. Let's see. And I don't really know where he is, but I will do my best to attempt to find him. Alright, so in this room we have Ramos.
Your presence here, let's just say it's highly irregular. Outsiders aren't even allowed to know that our bunker's here, let alone come and go freely. You impressed Elder McNamara, obviously. You must believe that you'd be very useful.
So, you're head of security?
That's right. Nothing gets in or out of here without me knowing it.
What exactly... No, I had other questions.
Fine by me.
What would an elder have to do to get kicked out?
So, you've been talking to Hardin, eh? He's been looking for a way to usurp McNamara ever since the lockdown started. Don't get me wrong, he's a good man. But Elder McNamara has done all right by us. If it weren't for him, none of us would have survived at Helios. I'll tell you what I told Hardin. There have been only a few cases of elders being dismissed from their posts in the Brotherhood's history. And those involve crimes that someone like Elder McNamara is just not capable of. You can look it up for yourself if you want. I'll grant you access to that portion of the history section of our data store. See Senior Scribe Ibsen about accessing it.
Well, that was easy. I thought he was going to deny us that. Kind of interested in this. Tell me about what happened at Helios.
I'm sure someone's told you all this before.
Nope.
Several years back, we were running our chapter out the Helios 1 solar power station. Our elder at the time, Elijah, had some kind of obsession with the place, which is the only reason we stayed as long as we did. That place was hardly defensible, and we knew the NCR was moving in on us, but the elder refused to budge, insisting that he just needed more time. We never found out what he needed time for. Wave upon wave of NCR troopers hit us from all directions. We held out for a time, but we were grossly outnumbered, and they had more men than we had ammo. Eventually, our positions collapsed. Elder Elijah was nowhere to be found, so McNamara took charge and led what remained of us on a counteroffensive west. We lost a lot of men and women, but we broke through and made it here. Make no mistake, McNamara saved this chapter that day.
We actually know what Elijah was trying to find in Helios 1. Who is Elijah?
Who was Elijah, more like? He was our elder before McNamara. Bright guy, but just between you and me, he was a little off. Our mission is to recover and preserve the technology of the past, but Elijah wanted more. He sought ways to improve upon technology, make it better. When we found Helios 1, he was like a kid in a candy store. Kept talking about the potential and a grand design never realized. He even insisted we set up our base there, against the objection of nearly every Paladin. What followed is a whole other story.
Okay, see you later. So do you not have any more dialogue options for me? Doesn't look like it. Let's go into sneak and see what happens if we pickpocket him. He has Hidden Valley bunker key. That could come in handy. And a T-51B power helmet. I'm going to actually save the game, because I know that bunker key is going to come in handy. I know for a fact. And we are going to loot it. There we go. We did get it, right? Yeah. And what about his terminal? It is very easy, so we're still hidden. Let's see if I can get lucky here. Pale. Main. Tarp. Okay, let me keep trying this. Alrighty, let's see what's in Paladin Ramos' terminal. Welcome, Paladin Ramos. Displaying last 3 files accessed, but there's only 2. Read Journal 651. Still no word from the missing patrols. I was beginning to get my hopes up that the Elder was close to ending the lockdown when they were sent out, but now... Read Journal 652. A few of our best men headed out around the same time as the patrols without my knowing about it. When I asked the Elder, he said they were on an important mission. Too important to tell his chief of security about? Something's up. So I wonder if that's going to give us more dialogue options with Ramos. Doesn't look like it, but obviously he has some concerns with McNamara's leadership. We have a turret control there. Okay, well, I'm going to make my way back to the terminals and see if we can access that information that we need now. Alrighty, back in the terminal room, there's what's-his-face, but I believe we can just access any terminal here. Access data store. Elder dismissal incidents. Okay, incident number 1. Let it be recorded that on this day, Raymond Lorne was dismissed from his post as Elder for committing the crime of murder. Brother Lorne was known to have hostile feelings toward the victim. Senior Scribe Ritter, the guilty party, insists that Ritter's death was a tragic case of friendly fire. The bunker was under attack at the time, but the tribunal felt that they could not let him persist as Elder with such suspicion hanging over him. Head Scribe Busek. Incident number 2. Be it known that from this day, Kenneth Jones shall no longer bear the title of Elder. Brother Jones has willfully gone against the chain of the... Wait. Oh, okay. Brother Jones has willfully gone against the chain that binds and has been forced to step down. Head Paladin Lindquist succeeds him as Elder. Head Scribe Morgan, and obviously our quest got updated there. Final incident, which I think is just a bonus. Let the record show that I have stood witness to the dismissal of David James from the post of Elder. Brother James was charged with destroying an unknown device recovered from a recent expedition. The purpose and function of the device remain unknown, and Brother James has thus far proven unwilling to discuss the matter with anyone. Head Scribe Towan. Very interesting. Alright, let's see what our quest got updated with. Optional. Ask Paladin Ramos about the chain that binds. And we will do just that. Hello again, Paladin Ramos.
Oh, hey there. Something I can help you with?
One of the data store entries mentioned the chain that binds. What is that exactly?
That's an old principle that's been around since the Brotherhood was founded. It basically means that you have to obey a superior officer. It's pretty much common sense, but it gets invoked a lot when people get pissy about following orders. If you're curious, I'll give you access to the data store entry on it. You'd probably be the first to read it in years, if not decades.
Okay. So this is a great way to do this quest, constantly make you go back and forth between the terminals and Paladin Ramos, but nevertheless I will go back and check the data store for more information on the chain that binds. Alright, once more we are in the terminal room. Stop talking about Mr. House every single time I come down here. Access data store. Chain that binds. The chain that binds is the cornerstone of our organization, the rock that supports, kinda Kind of messing up me being able to read that objective notification. The rock that supports the great tree of the Brotherhood and its myriad branches. It holds that. Orders are... Okay, how long is this thing? Not that long. Alright. One more time. It holds that orders are to flow from on high down through the ranks. An order from a superior must always be obeyed, that their wisdom may be carried out without hesitation. Orders are to observe the flow and not skip ranks. A superior may only give orders to his direct subordinates and not to those beneath them. In this way, the harmony of intent and cohesion of thought is maintained. Okay, and what does our quest now say? Return to Hardin with your findings about the chain that binds. Okay. Let's attempt to find Hardin now. Excuse me, Paladin Hardin. I'm gonna need you to wake up, sir.
What is it, outsider? Have you discovered anything?
Do you know anything about the chain that binds?
I could hardly call myself head paladin if I didn't. It's one of the first things every initiate learns when they start training. What about it?
One of the few times an elder was dismissed was due to it.
I could be wrong, but I think that's a dead end. McNamara's always followed orders, and we've been incommunicado since fleeing Helios.
Did you know there's a second part to it?
Second part? What are you talking about?
It says a superior is not allowed to give orders to the men under his subordinate.
That is the standard procedure, yes. For example, McNamara gives orders to head scribe Taggart, who then relays further orders to the scribes. I wasn't aware that failing to do so was punishable, however. Interesting. If we can just find an instance where McNamara went around someone and gave orders to their subordinates, we'll have him.
Tell me about your last elder.
Elijah was a strange one. His even becoming elder was highly questionable, seeing as how he was a scribe. Typically, only paladins are eligible. But an exception was made in his case on account of him being a genius. Unfortunately, whatever scientific acumen he had didn't extend to tactics. Trying to defend Helios was a blunder of the worst kind, and many brothers lost their lives because of it. Many of the senior paladins, myself included, advised him to fight a retreating action, but he refused to budge. Said he almost had it working. We never did find out exactly what he was talking about.
I did.
When the perimeter was finally overrun, the elder had simply vanished.
Okay, so the reason I've been going into all the detail with the dialogue about Elijah is because I believe he's the same guy that's a part of the Lonesome Road DLC, right? I mean, I don't know for sure, and I usually get my lore mixed up, but I will put in a notation on the screen if I'm right or not, but I think that's who it is because he just disappeared. Yeah, it's gotta be. Okay, time for me to go. Okay, now, did our objective get updated? Return to Hardin with the Lost Patrol's mission discs. Okay, find the missing... Yeah, looks like our only lead now is to, look at all this cool stuff he has, is to go and find all those holo discs. But let's just see if he has any more dialogue. Because I thought you could work around it.
What is it, outsider? Have you discovered anything?
Let's see, I wanted to ask you some other questions. Tell me about the battle at Helios. What do you think of the lockdown? We know what he thinks. Why do you dislike McNamara so much? Okay, well, I'm going to double check and make sure that there's nothing else I can do before going to find all of those holodiscs. If not, or the mission discs, I should say. If not, I guess we'll just go ahead and do that. Yeah, so apparently, regardless of if you side with Hardin or if you go with McNamara, you will have to get all of the mission discs. So I will go to the first one and we will attempt to recover it. Alright, so one of the mission discs is apparently right outside the Nellis Air Force Base, which of course is lucky that we've already dealt with, considering we can just walk straight up to it without getting bombarded. Oh wow, it looks like he's actually located in one of these houses that they send the artillery to. Okay, so we just need to find him, and of course I totally forgot that that one dude bet us that we couldn't survive, so we'll go back to him and get our caps. Here we have Brotherhood of Steel Paladin, who has Brotherhood of Steel mission holotape, and some microfusion cells, and I guess we should take the laser rifle as well. Yeah, and how much is that worth? Oh, it's actually worth a lot. It weighs 40. Yeah, we'll take that and sell it. Okay, so... yeah, he keeps talking about like there's multiple people, but there's really only one, which is kind of interesting. So we'll go ahead and listen to that holotape if we can. It's actually text. How long does it Okay. Mission code KH792, temporary password, and to dare to do it. Summary. Paladin Rosalian, you and an escort are to investigate the military base to the northeast for the components we need. We've had reports that the current occupants are fiercely territorial, but it's highly unlikely that they have any weapons that can seriously threaten someone in full power armor. Oh boy, how wrong you were. The threat level is considered minimal, McNamara. How could he be so ill-informed? Doesn't everybody else in the wasteland know how dangerous the boomers are? Okay, hopefully this dude George is still here. His name was George, right? I hope he didn't leave and go somewhere else. That would really suck. Actually, I do see a neutral blip in the distance. There he is. He's waited this whole time, like at least 4 days. How's it going, dude?
Jumping Jesus on a pogo stick. You're the first one to make it through alive, let alone manage a return trip.
I believe you said you would double my money.
Yep. Here are your caps.
That was 600 caps.
Sorry about that. Poor memory. Here you go.
So it looks like he tried to give us 300, which is what we bet him. Do you have any more dialogue?
That was pretty incredible. I've never seen anyone come out of the boomer's reign of death alive before.
I could have swore that this guy had some star bottle caps on him. We could loot him or kill him and get 127, but that's not something Arizona would do. Let's look at where the other, there's 2 more mission discs that we need. Let's see. One is, nope. One is near Hidden Valley, and where's the other one? At the RepCon headquarters. Okay. Oh, right. They said Black Mountain. Well, we're actually going to end this episode here, and we'll get the other 2 in the next one. We'll end this one a little bit early. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys there. Bye-bye.